Hello friends, welcome to See Astrology, and after a long time I am making this video due to some personal issues, but from today onwards I will regularly upload videos on Nadi astrology. So today we are going to discuss about law of Rashi exchange. What is the meaning of Rashi Parivartana when there is a Rashi exchange between two planets? What results do you get, especially in Nadi astrology? This rule is basically only for Nadi astrology, Bhrigu Nandi Naadi. So before I begin my lecture, I pray to Lord Ganesha and Lord Shanidev to help us learn this divine knowledge. For the lovers of Nadi, this is a very special video because a lot of combinations I will explain in this. So we will take example charts, and from that I will try to explain you what is the law of Rashi exchange. In a very simple way, we are going to learn today the law of Rashi exchange. So I will make a South Indian chart also here for all my readers, for all my subscribers. So these are the two charts. This is North Indian chart, this is South Indian chart. So Rashi exchange. What is the law of Rashi exchange in Nadi astrology? For that, first you need to understand few basic things. What are the basic things? Basic things are the life circle of a person, like a life circle of a native, the native who comes to analyze his chart. What is his life circle? 30 years of one circle is called the first part of life. The next 30 years is called the second part of life, and third 30 years means 60 to 90 years is called the third part of life. These all parts are ruled by Saturn. So the first part 1 to 30 years, the next second part is from 30 to 60 years, then 60 to 90 years begins the third part of his life. When there is a planetary exchange, means Rashi Parivartana between two planets, the Nadi technique, the Nadi concept says that after 30 years both the planets interchange their signs and come to their original position. This I will explain you with the help of example. First, let us assume Sun is debilitated here. So side by side I will try to write in South Indian chart also. So if Sun is debilitated here, Venus comes here in the sign of Leo. So this is called exchange of signs. You in my house, I in your house. So this is called the exchange of signs. Sun debilitated in Libra, but Venus, the lord of Libra, is placed in the sign of Sun, Leo. So this is called Rashi Parivartana. So what is the basic rule of Rashi Parivartana? That after 30 years, means the second part of the life starts after 30 years, this Sun will come in Leo and this Venus will come in Libra. This is the law of exchange in a Nadi. Especially this is taken in Nadi only because Vedic astrology deals with Rashi Parivartana in a different way, in different angles. They treat it as a Raj Yoga, but in a Nadi we study like this, that these planets after 30 years they will come to their original position, means Sun will come in Leo and Venus will come in Libra. This is the first basic rule you need to understand about Rashi Parivartana in Nadi astrology. Second rule is that if any planet is debilitated, like Sun here is debilitated, its niche is its Nisha in Libra sign. So the debilitation of Sun gets cancelled due to the Rashi Parivartana with Venus. This, from the very first day when the native is born, this Sun will not give the effects of debilitation, and further after 30 years I have already explained you what will happen. So these are the two basic rules. If you see a planet debilitated in your chart, so don't get scared that, oh, this planet will give bad results when the progression of Saturn comes over this planet. So Sun will behave like a debilitated planet, trouble to father, trouble in my job, trouble in name and fame, and all other significations of Sun and all other significations of Sun will be afflicted. No, it is not like that, because there is Rashi Parivartana, so debilitation gets cancelled. This is the second Nadi technique you have to follow in any chart. If you see Rashi Parivartana, then the third rule, which is very important, is that there will be lot of ups and downs in the life of the native. That depends upon which two planets are forming a Rashi Parivartana Yoga. Whether they are enemies or they are friends, that depends upon different planets. So if there is a Rashi Parivartana between Mars and Mercury, this is called Arishta Yoga. Yes, this is called Arishta Yoga. This will give you lot of problem, but because there is Rashi Parivartana, after 30 years this Arishta Yoga gets cancelled. So these are the three basic foundations in Nadi astrology when we deal with Rashi Parivartana. Now there are several other rules which we need to understand, that we need to understand that what is the law of exchange. Law of exchange means law of Rashi Parivartana. So I'll give you few examples just to understand the basic concept of Rashi Parivartana. So for this, let us say Saturn is exalted. When Saturn is exalted in any chart, the profession of the native it's a very good profession. The profession is really an acclaimed profession. He works with good companies and everything is fine and well because Saturn is exalted. Saturn is exalted. Saturn is the Karaka for profession in Nadi astrology. So no problem in profession. But at the same time, 8, 9, 10. At the same time, if Venus, Mars and Ketu, Venus, Mars and Ketu, here I will write Saturn. So now this law of exchange, what does this law of exchange says? You need to clearly understand this. Saturn, who is exalted in the birth chart, the native starts his profession maybe around 23-24 years of age. The profession goes very well, everything is fine, but there is Rashi Parivartana. Venus sitting in the sign of Saturn, Saturn sitting in the sign of Venus. So after 30 years, the second part of life when starts with the cycle of Saturn from 30 to 60 years, this Saturn will come to its own house Capricorn, and this Venus will come back to its own house Libra. So now the profession which was rising high, the person was enjoying his profession a lot. What will happen? This you need to analyze very carefully, because Saturn is now conjunct with Mars and Ketu after the Rashi Parivartana due to the law of exchange. This Saturn conjuncts with Mars and Ketu. So now in the second part of the life, second circle of the life, profession will be destroyed. There will be a lot of problems in the profession. Why? Because Mars and Ketu are two enemies placed in the house of Capricorn. Placed in the house of Capricorn, already waiting for Saturn, the profession Karka, to come and to enter in Capricorn. So as soon as Saturn comes like in Capricorn, problems in profession, lot of difficulties in profession. So this is the golden rule of Nadi astrology, how law of exchange works. Now I'll give you another example. Let's say if Mercury is debilitated and Jupiter is placed here, Mercury here and Jupiter here. Now there is Rashi Parivartana between the two. Jupiter placed in Virgo, Mercury placed in Pisces. So there is Rashi Parivartana. Now this Mercury is going to give result of an exalted Mercury. How? After 30 years, due to the law of exchange which is applied in Nadi astrology, Mercury comes back in his house of Virgo, and because Mercury here is exalted, so that will be the time when Saturn progresses on Mercury in 31st or 30. After 30 years, that will be the period when this exalted Mercury will give its best results to the native because of Rashi Parivartana. Now, there is another rule of Rashi Parivartana which I will explain you how. Let's say if Moon is placed here, Sun is placed here. Now there is exchange of Sun and Moon. There is a Rashi Parivartana of Sun and Moon. So I will write here also, if Moon is placed here, Sun is placed here, Rahu is placed here with Moon, Rahu is placed here with Moon. So now this law of exchange is very important here. You need to understand this concept. What will happen if Rahu has more degrees than Moon? Let's say Rahu is at 15 degrees, Moon is at 10 degrees, Sun is also at 10 degrees. Both the planets are at these degrees. So what will happen? First Rahu is going to swallow Moon, because Rahu moves anti-clockwise. He is moving this side because he is ahead in degrees 15, 14, 13. Likewise, he will swallow Moon and give trouble to mother. He will give you anxiety issues. Lot of predictions can be done here. But after 30 years, what happens? As I have explained you earlier, law of exchange, law of Rashi Parivartana means Sun comes back in Leo, Moon comes back in Cancer. Now Rahu, which was giving trouble to Moon got Rashi exchange, he entered Cancer, and Sun came in the grip of Rahu. That means both mother and father, because Sun is father, Moon is mother, both mother and father will have a very troubled life. You can analyze this from the chart of the native itself. We are not looking at the chart of father or at the chart of mother. We are only looking at these two planets and the chart of the native. So both mother and father, Rahu gives them lot of trouble due to Rashi exchange. First 30 years trouble to mother. After 30 years, when Sun comes back in Leo, trouble to father. So this applies to all planets who are placed with Rahu, but there is Rashi Parivartana. So this you can analyze yourself. You can draw charts manually. Then you can see which two planets are forming Rashi Parivartana Yoga. You can make notes on it. Now next, when two planets are debilitated and they have Rashi Parivartana, both the planets debilitation gets cancelled and they give results like a Raj Yoga planet. So which are these two planets? Yes, only two planets can form this yoga. That is, I will write it here. If Mars is placed in Cancer, Moon is placed in Scorpio, Mars and Moon. So now what will happen? Mars is debilitated, Moon is also debilitated, but there is a Rashi Parivartana between the two. So this forms a complete Raj Yoga, and debilitation of both the planets get cancelled. But now there is one condition according to Nadi techniques. They should be, these two planets like Moon should be alone, Mars should also be alone. They should not be in conjunction with any other planet. Let's say if Mars is conjunct with Saturn here, these planets will not give the Raj Yoga result. They have to be alone. There should be no conjunction with any of these two planets. If they are alone and they are placed in any chart, anywhere in the house, irrespective of the house position, they will give a very fruitful result to the native. So I have given you like 4 to 5 examples of Rashi Parivartana. It's a very important technique of Nadi astrology, and for the lovers of Nadi who are learning Bhrigu Nandi Naadi through different channels or through books or any other notes, this law of exchange plays a major role when predictions are done in Nadi astrology. Without Dasha, without Bhukti, we don't need Dasha and Bhukti in Nadi astrology. Our foundation is Jupiter. So these few concepts you have to keep in mind. You have to keep in mind when you are analyzing a chart which has Rashi Parivartana. For example, you can, just for your study purpose, you can take the chart of Shrimati Indira, late Shrimati Indira Gandhi. There you can see lot of Rashi Parivartanas are there: Sun, Mars, Saturn, Moon, Venus, Jupiter. Yeah, I forgot to tell you one more thing. When there is exchange between Venus and Jupiter, then these persons are very lucky and they have immense wealth also. When both the gurus, Jupiter and Venus, they are in Rashi Parivartana. And if there is Rashi Parivartana between Venus and Mars, if there is Rashi Parivartana, after marriage, the flow of money is quite fast. The person will gain after marriage because Venus is the wife, Mars is the husband. So when there is a Rashi Parivartana, definitely that person will rise after marriage. If there is Rashi Parivartana between Jupiter and Moon, Jupiter in Cancer, Moon in Sagittarius or Pisces, then the native and mother will look alike. You can check in any chart this combination. You will 100% find if there is exchange between Moon and Jupiter, the native looks like his mother. If there is a Rashi Parivartana between Jupiter and Sun, the same combination applies to native. He will follow the qualities of his father if there is Rashi Parivartana between Jupiter and Moon. So there are a lot of combinations, because I don't want this video to be very long. I want this video to be very short, so the concept should be clear. So I think I have done a very good job here. I have explained the concepts of Rashi Parivartana, which is called the law of exchange, and in the coming classes I will give you snapshot predictions through Nadi techniques, in which we don't need any Dasha or Bhukti or any kind of Navansha or something like that. So that's all for today, friends. I am going to close this video here, and thank you very much.